Hello everybody. It is Wednesday the 16th of March. I want to talk about the book of Revelation, about the armies of heaven that will come to earth to fight, to bring in this kingdom of this God that presumably is coming to save you, or so you think. And I want to bring a correct understanding to this text so that you see what is actually happening. To actually open your eyes to what the words are actually saying. Because you have been given a meaning and you're running with this meaning. And it's not. If you look at the words, they're actually saying something different. So, and to bring an overall understanding of this book, because it is grown out of a root, and we've been cut off from the understanding of that root, what it actually is we're looking at. So again, I've been going back to look at B'nai Baruch, the Kabbalah Institute that I now and then look into. And there was something there that is fundamental to the understanding of this text. And that is that they're not talking about people. When the text is talking about forms like riders on horses, they're not actually talking about people riding on a horse. That is spirit. It is of heaven. It's spirit. It has no form. But in the story, it has been given a form to describe it. So we're not talking about the heavens opening and forms riding toward earth. We're talking about forces. We're talking about energies. Yeah? So then if you look at this book, if you look at the riders of the apocalypse, for instance, so the first one, the one that is coming to conquer, he came to conquer, and to him was given a sword. Yeah? And he rode out to conquer. So what is he? He is exactly what the text says. He is the will to conquer. That's what he is. He's a desire to conquer. That is what that person, the meaning of that person is the desire to conquer. And to him was given a sword, a weapon. And he's riding on a horse. They're all riding on horses. They're riding on the animal. The animal is your lower nature. Your dreadful, dreadful lower nature. By the way, compassion is also of your lower nature. It's an emotion. But he is riding on this emotion. There's a thought, a desire that is riding on an emotion. And it's coming to conquer. So the armies of heaven, yeah? And people are sitting here saying, oh, we're waiting, they're coming. They're here. They are spirit, they are thought, they're desire that are touching themselves, riding on your emotions. They're here, they're in your head. They've knocked on the door and you let them in. And they're having supper with you up there. You are becoming the form. There's no form coming from outside of you. You are becoming the form. So what animal is he riding on? That horse. What is that? I would say it is fear. And it is aggression, because he's got a sword. It's aggression. Now, again, our emotions are not always clear-cut. And you're kind of mixing energies. So if you mix fear and aggression, and if you put two together, you might get something bigger than just one. So you mix fear and emotion. And you're getting a real toxic brew. And probably more powerful than just one. And when he comes, and he's here now, he's in our heads, we are thinking the thoughts that will serve him to conquer. We're becoming its servant in one way or another. Whether it's just in our thoughts or in what we're saying to one another, reinforcing the narrative, or if we just pack our bags and go to Ukraine and become a full body servant of what is going on. So he's going first, and then what comes after him is hunger, is pestilence, is death. They are following him. So there is, when you follow the will to conquer, that's the outcome. That's what will come in behind him. That's what that text is telling you. Any Christians out there shouting glory, hallelujah, and how righteous the whole thing is? Now look at what is, and I want to go because we need to make this relevant to what is happening now. What is happening in our world is not independent from heaven. This is heaven have come to earth. Heaven is not all good, as above so below. And what has come is not good. It is good in the eyes of the will that wants dominion, because it's serving it. But if you want life, this does not serve you. It will not serve you. So bringing it to earth, see what's happening. Because I was looking at Ukraine and I was looking at the problem of it. I was first of all looking at Zero Hedge, and there was this big article, why is Putin invading the Ukraine? You know, and it's listing a long list of things, the reasons that he might have. Well, why don't we just go with the reasons that he told us? You know, just for a novelty. He wants he wants Crimea to be recognized as Russian territory. He wants independence for the two regions of the Donbass. And he wants Ukraine to stay an independent country. That's the three reasons that he has given. Okay, Crimea. Well, historically, it's not like it's completely out there. Crimea in its existence has been drifting in and out of Russia all the time. And they had a referendum. So basically that's democracy. So we are now bringing democracy to Crimea by trampling over the will of the people. Interesting concept, but okay, that's what we're doing. The two regions of the Donbass, so they declared independence 7 years ago, and they declared a republic. Again, from an American standpoint, that is how America started, with a declaration of independence and by declaring a republic. So, but now America is coming and saying, we're going to bring our democracy to them by denying them the same thing that we have done. And, Ukraine being independent, or neutral rather, if you put rockets, if NATO puts rockets into Ukraine, that will render Russia's defense systems, good as they might be, and apparently they are quite good, but it would render them ineffective because the rockets would be too close. So there is a threat to Russian security. And if you look at the regions of the Donbass, I mean, there's already, Russia does not even lay claim to those territories. Yeah, it's asking for independence. There already was an agreement to protect those two territories, which was the Minsk Agreement, which should have, as I said, it was to protect the people in those territories. And that was, again, that agreement was for life. It was pro-life. Protect the people in the territories, which the agreement has failed. I mean, they've been shelled throughout that agreement. So we need a new, but if the will were truly to protect the people of the Donbass, then we need to find a new way of protecting them. If that was actually what the intention was. So then a clear-cut independence would be a way to protecting life in the Donbass. But you see, there's a problem. Is the intention democracy, like in the Crimea? Is the intention democracy? Is the intention to protect life, to make it free, to bring freedom and security? Is that the intention? Ukraine's membership of NATO, and there it shows the clearest. Russia says, we don't want Ukraine part of NATO because it is a threat to our security. So there's what they want and the reason for it. NATO says, we don't want Ukraine in NATO. So they actually want the same thing. So what is it we're fighting about? Whose will shall be done? Is Ukraine not going to be part of NATO because NATO says so? We cannot have Ukraine not being part of NATO because Russia says so. It is our will that must be done. And here, the will to have dominion is actually gone insane because they're fighting about something where there is not even a disagreement. Just so that it is because of me. I'm not going to do that because he wants it, even though I want it myself. This is kindergarten stuff. This is what it's all about. It's not about the people. It's not about security. It's not about doing good for the people. It is to have dominion. For those that want to rule have to have dominion. They have to be in charge. And life has to pay the price. We are paying the price. Not just Ukraine, although they're paying the heaviest price of all. We here, and you know, I'm off to the pumps this morning to get heating oil, and I'm hoping and praying that the bloody price has not jumped. And I can't even get enough to last me. I know it will last me till next week. But I have to make that sacrifice. Yeah? I have to make, it's like, what for? I have to make the sacrifice so they can have dominion. I'm doing without to give power to them so they can have dominion. And they're saying they're doing it to serve me. It doesn't serve me. It does not serve me. It does not serve anybody I know. It serves them. So bring it back to the beginning and see what is happening. You must see clearly what is happening and what that book says, because you are letting these teachings in subconsciously. Yeah? That, this rider will come and he shall have dominion, and that is good. That is a baseline understanding that they've programmed into you. That is good. And even if you do not see it consciously in whatever form it takes here, you're still going with what was programmed into you. This is good. Whatever form it takes, it is good. It has a sword, it will go and conquer, and you should shout glory, hallelujah, because that's what you've been told, and you're doing it. That is how the interpretation of the text is affecting you. What you've been told, good and evil, how that is affecting you. And you are becoming the form, you are becoming, going to be a soldier in the army of the Lord. That's what you are. Because the army has entered into your head. The desire and the thought has entered into your head. And you've been told what good and evil is. And pumping weapons into Ukraine is good. Because it will give dominion to him that wants to rule over. And that is good. That's what you've been told. Wake up. It is using life. It's trampling over life. It's trampling over freedom to get its own desire. And it is not to serve life. It doesn't want that desire, the fulfillment of that desire, to give to all life. It doesn't. Or to be a servant of all life. It will serve itself. You are now suffering to give power to that. And it has to stop. We need to wake up. Yeah, and it's not that we should take sides. Decide who is going to rule over you for their own gain. There's your choice, this side or that side. No, go to the middle. Tell the most to sort of. I am that I am, and I will not be ruled over by this intention. I will not let it into my head. I will not let the armies of heaven into my head and think their thoughts and shout their slogans unconsciously. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at that. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.